If you've been listening to this show for any amount of time, you guys have been hearing me talk a lot about evergreen assets and really about how they can generate income down the line as well. We want to create these evergreen assets that create traffic, but also turn into income streams. Well, today I'm going to share with you how one asset that we created over 10 months ago is starting to show signs of traffic, but also signs that it can turn into an income generating asset that we're going to be able to use now, but well into the future. In this episode, I'm going to break down exactly how that even happened and how you can model exactly what we're doing here on this show, but also in Brand Creators Academy. So guys, if that sounds interesting, if you want to generate extra traffic, extra revenue through blog posts or content creation, stick around, because that's what I'm going to cover in this episode. Well, hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Rock Your Brand Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Voelker, a serial entrepreneur on a mission to help you. This show is designed to teach you, to inspire you, to motivate you to take massive action and build a future-proof business. So whether you're just starting out or taking your existing business to the next level, this is your home. Now, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's rock your brand. All right, guys, welcome back. This is episode 842, and I am fired up to dig in to this little case study, really. And this just happened. I wasn't aware of it even happening until I took a peek under the hood inside of our Google Analytics. And this is one brand that we're building inside of Brand Creators Academy. And we're sharing everything inside of there. And really also, I should probably let you know that if you're listening to this before July 6th, well, we're going to be opening enrollment once again into Brand Creators Academy. If you're not yet in, well, you might want to consider joining us inside of the Academy. And you can do that by going to brandcreators.com, click on the checklist. That will give you the brand growth validation checklist. And from there, you'll also be notified when we open Brand Creators Academy, which at the time of this recording will be July 6th. We'd love to have you, but that's where we do all of this testing and all of this playing in building a brand and then sharing the results. And this here just literally came to my attention about a week ago. All right. And what I'm talking about here is creating evergreen assets. I talk a lot about evergreen assets inside the Academy, outside the Academy, because I'm a big believer. If you're going to put the work in, if you're going to, really focus on certain areas of your business and spend the time, then we got to look at the ROI. Okay. And that doesn't mean just ROI, like what did that bring in financially? What did it bring in as far as new traffic or eyeballs or something that I can do today and then reap the benefits, a year from now, 10 years from now. And that's why I talked a lot lately about Pinterest traffic. And we did a whole workshop on that. But it's really, really important that you understand what we're doing here is we're planting seeds. We're planting seeds in our market that are leading people back to our website. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be breaking down here inside of this episode. Now, let me just kind of give you a little bit of a backstory. Last August, I believe it was August 10th. I have some notes here. That's why I'm looking away. If you're listening, you don't see me looking away. If you're watching, you're seeing me look down. That's because I'm looking at my computer with some notes. All right. So August 10th, 2019, we created a blog post, one of our first blog posts, by the way. And in that blog post, it was very, very basic. And we follow the same principles that I'm talking about today. There's 3 different buckets of content that we are following. We always start with the questions bucket. Okay. There's a lot of questions that we are trying to answer that the market is asking about. And the reason why we do this is, number 1, it's easy to create this content. Number 2, you have less competition because we're going after what we call the long tail keyword, how to catch bass in a pond, right? Like that would be a long tail. And it doesn't have to be complex. Now, the other bucket that we usually will create content in and that's a little bit later, is the how-to bucket. That's where you share how-to, right? Now, the how-to catch bass in a pond, that could be a how-to and a question combined, but I'm talking more of like if you're doing a step-by-step tutorial or something like that, that would be more complicated and more designed to be an exact how-to. If you're answering how to catch a bass in a pond, that could be not as visual. You can just kind of explain it. But what I'm trying to say here is you want to have questions and then you want to have how-tos. And then the third bucket is product-based. Now, the one that I'm sharing with you just happens to be like a product-based, but also a question-based, all right? So also, let me just kind of go back a little bit here. I have some examples here. But if I was to ask this question, can you catch bass using rubber worms? Like, that's a long tail, but it also is asking a very, very specific question. And also, if I'm asking that, I might be interested in buying some rubber worms, right? Now, if I was to design this to be more of a product base, it would be 5 types of rubber worms to catch more bass, right? That means I'm looking to buy, I want to know which ones to buy, the pros and the cons, and any tips, right? So that's what that would look like. Now, this post that I'm talking about that we created only had 1,429 words. And the reason why I'm saying that is because a lot of people say, Scott, how many words does it have to be in order for it to rank? As many as it needs to be, but we generally now say that we want anything from 1,500 to 2,000 for our basic post. But you can see this one here didn't follow the rules, by the way, right? And these are just rules that we set internally that we want to have articles that are just really well-rounded and they have enough information in there to give people what they need. All right. And we can elaborate on that a lot more if we're doing 1,500 words. But you can see here, 1,429 words. All right. The other thing, not a lot of images. We have 2 total images. 2 total images. That is it. That is on this post. All right. So here's what happened. We wrote the post and then we moved on. Right? So many people will write the post and be like, okay, now I got to go back to the post a week later. I need to add this. And no, we set it and we forget it. We go on to the next. And we might improve on the next one from what we learned, but we keep moving. And that's the goal. Right now, we have over 160 articles since we started this brand just under a year ago. Okay? But 160 articles. And you might say, Scott, that's a lot. Yeah. But this article right here is one article. And it was one of our first articles. I think it was probably one of the first 10. And now it took about 7 months before it started to gain traction. Now, why? I don't know. Do I care? Not really. Because again, the mindset is this: create information, content that your market is searching for, deliver the answer or the solution, be, a resource to the market. And then from there, just keep giving them value over and over and over again. So we keep planting seeds. It's kind of like a gardener. You're going to plant maybe 20 seeds. There might be 3 or 4 that don't ever take, and that's okay. But the other 17 did, right? And that's the same mindset here, is we're planting seeds in our market. So now what happened is I went in, I started looking at our Google Analytics. And inside of our Google Analytics, I started to look at our pages in the past month, the ones that were kind of like rising stars, our hero posts, as you would say. And so I started to notice this one, and I'm like, man, I don't remember that one in like the last month, 2 months. I'm wondering where that's coming from. And so I went back and I looked and I seen the date on it, and I was like, wow, that one there was written like in the first probably month, and now it's starting to gain traction. And then I went back and I looked at the graph, and you could see it was flatlined for probably 3 months. And then it just started to get some traffic. It started to get some search. Now, it could have been shared. Who knows, right? It could have just been indexed. It could have taken that long, right? Or it could have been some other websites were ranking, but then they stopped being ranked because maybe they had strikes against them. Who knows? Don't care. All I know is that the more content that we produce on a regular basis, that's the key word there, regular basis. If you could only create 1 post per week, that's what I would do, right? Versus saying, should I do 5 a week? Yeah, but if you can't stick to that schedule, then don't do it. Whatever you can do consistently, all right? So here's what happens now. Now, I see this post and I go, wow, that post is talking about a product. So an example would be this: guitar stand for 5 electric guitars. That would be the post, right? That's the post that was written, right? Guitar stand or stands, you could say, for 5 electric guitars. See how that's really niche, right? But there's people that are looking for guitar stands that will hold more than one guitar. I know, because I'm a guitar player and I have multiple guitars, and I would love a guitar stand with 5 different holders for my guitars. Okay. So again, guitar stand for 5 electric guitars, just so you understand what we're talking about here. Now, we publicly share that inside of Brand Creators Academy. We just don't do it outside of that right now. That's part of the reason why people are joining, is because they want to be a part of kind of building it along with us, and then we can show everything behind the scenes. But I want to still give you guys the principles and the concept, and different things that you can apply to your business, and also understanding that all it takes is planting seeds consistently. Okay, planting seeds consistently. And these are evergreen, meaning they're going to keep growing. They're not going to die off and grow. Now, could they get hit by a Google update? Of course, right? But if you do everything above board, you don't try to, do a backlinking campaign that gets you blacklisted or gets a strike against you, or you use what they call a private blog network. And if you guys don't know what that means, it just means that people are trying to manufacture results. And anytime you do that, you're playing with fire. So don't do that, right? We don't do that. We have never actually went out and tried to get backlinks going to our content. Not once, okay? And we're still doing just fine. This site that I'm talking about, we crossed 31,000 page views last month alone, okay? And so it's just, you got to understand, it's consistency and it's long tail, and it's doing this basic stuff that a lot of people overlook because it seems too basic, all right? All right, so now we're at the point where we're like, okay, this is getting traffic. Okay, we're getting anywhere from 50 to 100 visitors per day. It varies. And I'm like, wow. And this is about products. So maybe what we should do, instead of just doing Amazon affiliate products, maybe what we should do is try to find a digital product. And so it just happens that there's a marketplace called ClickBank. If you've never been on ClickBank, you should go there. Just find yourself, or you'll find yourself looking through the marketplace and then searching your category and seeing if there is anything there for you to promote, if it makes sense. So what we did is we did that exact thing. We went there, searched our market for this specific thing. So if it was guitar stands, it might be like guitar stands or guitar playing, right? But in this case, I would want it to be around guitar stands. Now, it could be a DIY, do it yourself, maybe how to build your own guitar stands, right? Maybe that's the product. And then I could then insert that into this post because it's already getting traffic. And I already know people are looking to have their own guitar stand. Some are going to want to build their own. Some people are going to want to buy their own, right? Now, if I wanted to take that a step further, I could create a post that says, build your own guitar stand. That could be a great post. If that took off, then I could take a product that shows people how to build their own stands and inject it into that post. But just so you understand what we did here, we didn't plan on monetizing it way back then, but now that we're getting traffic, we can go in and we can start to insert these offers, and we can start to experiment. We can start to test because we have the traffic. All right. So number one, I'm giving you 3 steps here that we did and that you should consider doing as well. Step 1 is start with question type posts around products and some without around products, because we just want traffic. Because if we get traffic, then we can also interlink inside of our ecosystem, inside of our home base, as I call it, our website, and then we can keep people on site longer. It's another thing that we focus on in Brand Creators Academy. It's really, how do you connect the dots inside of your ecosystem of your brand? So number 2, we wrote the content. All right. I know that seems obvious, but you can do the research and you can find, your keywords or fill your buckets, but until you write it, can't do anything. Right? So we have to write the content. So we wrote the content, and just to be clear here, we did not write the content. I wanted to build these brands without me physically being involved. Kind of like creating a piece of real estate that I can rent or sell down the line and have a management company do it for me, not me. Or another analogy would be, I want to build homes, but I don't want to actually swing a hammer, right? I want to be the GC. It's the same idea. So I followed that to a T, building out these brands inside of Brand Creators Academy that we're sharing. All right. So writing the content, it's basic. Okay. But all we did was we shared information that helped them with that one specific thing. Okay. One specific thing that people are searching for. They Googled it. They found us. They're linked back over. All right. Now, the other thing is, I'll call a little timeout here. I'm getting ahead of myself, but we are actually taking Pinterest now and amplifying some of our content. But this here was not done with Pinterest as of yet. I'll get to that here in a minute. All right. So number one, question type post. Number two, we wrote the content answering the question and elaborating on why, right? So a lot of people will be like, well, yeah, Scott, if I just answer the question, well, you can put 5 guitars on a stand. They make one, right? Like, instead of saying that, you should talk about it and then talk about the differences and talk about the option 1, 2, and 3 and what the differences are, the pros and the cons. So that's all you would do, right? It's not like, yeah, they make a guitar stand that holds 5 guitars. Okay, bye. No, we're going to elaborate on that. All right. So number 2, write the content. Okay. That's what we did. And then 3, ready for it? We published it. We hit send. We hit publish, not send, publish. Sending is email. Push, publish, right? We hit that button, which a lot of people don't do. I was just on a coffee talk that I do in the morning. If you guys haven't heard about that, Take Action Morning Crew. That's where we get stuff done. We hang out 10 a.m. Eastern time, depending on when you're listening to this. You can head over to takeactioncrew.com and join us over there. But I had Ashley on, and she was telling me how she was all ready to go. She had 5 blog posts ready, but she was waiting to actually go in and just refine them and make them better. So what I told Ashley to do was just this. I said, tomorrow, I want you to post your first article. The second one that you got ready, I want you to do that the next day. And then the next day, do the other one. And then the 4th day, the next one. And the 5th day, the next one. I wouldn't do them all at once. But get those things published. If they don't get published, we cannot get them found, right? And then some people are like, well, should I just wait? I got 5. I should do 1 a week now. No, get them out there. Publish them. And then get on a routine. 1 a week, maybe 2 a week. Whatever you think you can handle. You got to publish it or it can't be found, all right? It doesn't have to be perfect. And this one example I'm sharing with you, if I never published it, we wouldn't be looking at over 2,000 visitors a month from an article that you might look at and go, it's not that great. It gives the information, but it doesn't look that sexy. It's not like, you would think this amazing, blog post. It serves the purpose. It delivers the answer. It delivers the solution that they're looking for. And that's it. And we can go back in later and refine it. All right. So don't wait. All right. That's a big takeaway here. All right. So number 1, question type post. 2, write the darn thing. And then 3, publish the darn thing. All right. So that's the 3. Bottom line is this. Wasn't perfect. Doesn't have to be. Okay. Yes, you want it to be good, but don't try to make everything perfect out of the gate, because it never will be. You'll get better. I look back at that post from what we're creating now, and ours are better. We've learned from that, right? That's how you get better. Same thing happened to us in the photography business. My wife and I ran a photography business. We looked at our first pictures that we took of our clients to where we were 5 years in. Oh my gosh. We're like, wow, I can't believe that we actually sold them, right? They were good, but not good enough to us, because our eye had gotten better, right? We have gotten better. All right. So just understand that you're never going to have it perfect. So you got to publish it. All right. Now, the other thing that we've added as of late, which I really think will be like adding fuel to the fire, is Pinterest. And the reason why I love Pinterest, and you guys, if you listen to any of my past episodes, or if you were on some of the coffee talks, it's another evergreen asset. All right. This asset will then lead people to this asset on our website. So anytime that I'm talking about creating content, I need to know that it's evergreen. All right. I'm not talking about TikTok. I'm not talking about Instagram. I'm not talking about Facebook even, right? I'm talking about evergreen assets. So Pinterest is another thing that we're adding to our process now. All right. I didn't add that in here because that's not important until you have a piece of content created. All right. All right. So where do you get content ideas? I get that question a lot. So I wanted to just kind of address it here and give you guys what we do still to this day. It's very, very simple. It always starts with Google. Do a Google search. Let it auto suggest. Let it auto fill. All right. From there, we can also look down once we hit that result and we can see what are other questions that are being asked. Google will tell you that. Okay. You do not need, especially in the beginning, to know all of these numbers and metrics and all that stuff. That stuff there will slow you down. All right. The biggest thing here is to get it out there. Number 2, Answer the Public. It's another great resource. It's free as well. Answer the Public. And then the last one is Uber Suggest. If you use Uber Suggest, you could get tempted to start analyzing all the numbers. I would not do that because you might look at a post and go, oh, it only gets 50 searches, or a keyword that only gets 50 searches a month. Number 1, that's 50 people per month. Number 2, it's not accurate. I can tell you that from experience. All right. It's not accurate at all. And number 3, that's 50 of what it was reporting from the past. What about the future? Right? So don't get hung up on the numbers. If you want to elaborate and get more ideas by then going through and finding other people that are already publishing and go through some of their content, what is doing good, giving yourself ideas, then fine. I'm good with that. But I would not get hung up on the numbers or the metrics or what's the domain score I should be looking at. Don't worry about that stuff. Okay. Even to this day, we don't look at that stuff all that much. All right. We just look at, does it make sense? And is it a search that's coming up in Google right now? If it is, good. Right. So yes, as we start to broaden this out a little bit, we can get a little bit more, data driven. But even to this day, we don't really look at, okay, that gets 2,000 searches. So that's the one we're going after right now. Okay. There's other factors that come in, but in the beginning, it's not that at all. All right. It's getting started, getting a seed planted. All right. So let's recap real quick. The 3 steps. All right. Number 1, question type content. That's what we're going after. In the beginning, for sure. We still do that to this day. We're always sprinkling that in. We're always filling that bucket. Remember, 3 buckets: questions, how to, products. All right. Number 2, write the content, publish it. 3, right? So we have 1, question-based post, 2, write the content, 3, publish it. That's it. That's your 3 steps, right? So spend some time in your market, exploring what people are searching for, find the long tail, write it. After you're done writing it, publish it, optimize it. And optimizing it, I'm not going to go into all the details here, but it's not that complicated. They even have plugins out there to help you with it, like Yoast for WordPress, making it super, super easy. All right. And now, because we have this post that is getting traffic, we have an offer that's going to be sitting on it, or at least we're going to be testing that offer. That one offer, by the way, every single sale will generate between $20 and $25. And that's pretty much profit because we're not paying for that product. It's a digital product that we're promoting through ClickBank. Okay. So just understand, $25 per sale that we can generate. We get 4 sales a month, extra $100 from that one post, $100 every single month. Could be $500, could be $1,000. You don't know. All I do know is it's getting traffic. And I also know that people are buying this thing that we are referencing to. All right. So guys, that is going to wrap up this episode. This is 842. If you want the show notes, you might want them in this one because, we talked about a lot of stuff, and you might want to actually go through this process yourself. All right. And you can get all the show notes, like I said, at 842. So that's brandcreators.com/842. And then also just another quick reminder, if you have not grabbed your brand growth validation checklist, you might want to head over to brandcreators.com, go to the area that says the checklist. That will give it to you. And also you'll be notified about Brand Creators Academy when we open on July 6th. If you're listening to this after July 6th, well, you'll be notified when we open it in the future. All right, guys. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, remember, I'm here for you. I believe in you, and I am rooting for you. But you have to, come on, say it with me. Say it loud. Say it proud. Take action. Have an awesome, amazing day. And I'll see you right back here on the next episode. Now go rock your brand. Boom, boom, boom.